It's the Pod and the City Weekly Roundup. I'm John.
And I'm Amanda. Jojo Siwa is once again making headlines. And as it turns out, the best career rebrand she has done thus far was questioning her sexuality and breaking up with her partner after an emotional affair.
Former astronaut Katy Perry kicked off her new tour this week with a flop. Thankfully, Queen Bee arrived on a flying horseshoe to show her how it's done.
And Jax Taylor had Dr. Drew on his podcast to validate his own narcissism. And you know you're a bad guy when the world's #1 toxic man sympathizer can't argue with the facts.
Men, eh? All this and so much more on this week's episode of the Pod in the City Weekly Roundup. Hi, guys.
Hello, welcome. Happy Wednesday.
Do you want to give special shout outs to all of our friends who are here at the top? Julie, Bree, JB, Sarah, Shannon, Florida Stanley, Heather Smith, Jay Schwa. Hey, guys. That crotch shot. You're right, girl.
I was a Gabriel is in the chat. By the way, Florida Stanley, the message that, you're going to wrap up our entire thing because I'm going to read out the TikTok that you send me because I listened to it 700 times and I sent it to Jody. Okay. Wendy's Front Yard wants to know, are we going to talk about Jiggly? Wendy, we're 10 steps ahead of you.
Wendy, baby.
We're not even doing Housekeeping right now. We're going to do it in a second.
Okay. First of all, hi, guys. Welcome. Hi. We're here every Wednesday live at noon MST, baby. We also put out, Amanda and I met yesterday and we recorded some juicy episodes, which we'll get to in a second. But first of all, honestly, the thing that really shook me this week, genuinely, Jiggly Caliente passed away. Now, the first thing that came out was 3 days before she passed, it was reported that they had to amputate her leg because of an infection. And so I'm like, holy shit.
I think it was sepsis.
Well, I think that's what actually she ended up passing from was a blood infection. Guys, it is so sad and tragic. She was so young. And you know what? The amazing thing though here, and I'm, trying to find the silver lining in it is that the legacy that Jiggly Caliente has left by, I think people in the beginning dogged her out on her original season. She famously... She had the baked potato outfit, all of that, the apocalyptic couture.
But she's iconic. So many iconic things.
And you know what? She later in life had after Drag Race transitioned, and her name is Bianca Castro. That is her name. So I want to make sure that we say Bianca Castro, not just Jiggly, but she was fine being called Jiggly. Because famously, there's that thing where RuPaul comes up to her and is like, may I call you Jiggly? And she's like, yes, mother. And it's just...
But one of the funniest ones is there's one single time where Ru goes, may I call you Jiggly? And Jiggly goes, no. And I always remember that being so sassy and funny. This was season 4, which was the first season I ever watched. And there's a pretty is it season 4? Yeah, it's season 4. And doesn't Fifi try to sabotage her?
Yes, by telling her to make the magazine about working out serious as opposed to making fun of herself.
Yeah, she's so serious.
Which ruined her. Yep. Okay, so here's my thing with Jiggly at Bianca. It's amazing because she was also on Pose. She was in an episode of Broad City.
We'll never get to because we stopped doing it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But guys, I think you know what. It's amazing that with the time that she was on this earth, the impact that she's made, and she'll be a legend forever. I mean, come on, she goes down in history. So R.I.P. Jiggly forever.
Oh, how awful! Everyone.
I hate to talk about myself, but this actually, I was crying when I found this out, and it's not so all celebrity deaths affect
I feel like it's almost worse that she had to have a leg amputated before passing. That's almost worse. I don't know if she was even conscious, but God, I hope she went peacefully. She's awesome. And people always ask, what's the best season to watch? All Stars 2 is obviously the first season that you guys should watch, but season 4 is epic. It has Latrice Royale in it. Like, it's
you
just...
know me though. I say start at the beginning.
Okay, but really,
4, though, so good, so good. And you know what? Jiggly almost gets out in the first episode, and she lip syncs to Toxic, busts her pussy down to the ground, and then stays for like weeks. I mean, come on, she's an icon. And then she was on All Stars as well.
Problematic winner in season 4, though, as it turns out.
Okay, okay, I don't even really want to bring this up, but Tyra Sanchez.
I know. I was
going to see what she wrote.
Doing her same thing. Let's not even give her any attention. She's such a fucking piece of shit.
Here's my attention to her. Shut the fuck up, you stupid bitch.
Yeah, and don't even remember the title.
Someone who should not shut the fuck up is this amazing review we got. Thank you, Taylor Ruth. This redeemed my faith in humanity. They wrote, faves gives gay son and thought daughter energy in the best way. And you know what? I'll take it.
Yeah. My favorite thing about this is that we agreed before we even started this podcast is don't tell me about the reviews, good or bad. And all you really do is mention reviews. You mention reviews that I get on me and Jody's podcast that I never knew existed until you mentioned it. But anyway, this is lovely. And I guess if you listen, guys, keep leaving these great reviews because a happy Joan means a happy manada.
Exactly. Well. And you know what I want to lead into with that comment is this week on our Patreon, patreon.com/pod in the city. Want to throw that banner up, babe? We did. Oh,
sorry.
We did. Pillow talk, honey. And you know what? We started off with some interesting stories about what's going on. Amanda gave us an update. You'll have to tune in to see if she did reveal the secret thing, and then I did a little grievance about
it's very funny. It's
a very relatable situation. Yeah. And then we had some sex talk, and so check it out, patreon.com/pod in the city. Also, we did this episode of Sex in the City season 3, episode 18, the finale. Basically, we wrapped up season 3. It's called Cock-a-Doodle-Doo. Now, there is some questionable material in this episode as well.
Not as much as we were worried about going in. We were able to kind of forgive a lot of stuff based on when this episode aired and the fact that they were clearly not trying to be offensive, I guess.
So please check that out. It drops Friday, or if you're on our Patreon, you can already listen to it, babes. But we do want to give a little slight update about And Just Like That. We're rumbling around ideas. We got a lovely letter from Casey that said there was another podcast that would do a reaction to the episode the day after live. And then they would do the recap of it and drop it like the day before the next episode comes out. And you know what? I think that schedule is going to possibly work for Amanda and I because we can easily jump on and do a live and then we can get the other stuff recorded. So exciting stuff starting May 30th at noon MST. We're going to have an And Just Like That live reaction. Well, we're not gonna go through the episode like you guys do on yours. We're gonna just have a live.
Everyone do your homework. It'll drop Friday morning on Max because that's the way they're doing it. And everyone watch it. Show up here this exact same time. And we're just going to talk for like 30 minutes and just about like what we thought in general. Then we'll still drop everything on Patreon the exact same way on Wednesday. You just won't get early ad-free. But look, we're doing the best we can here. This is we're going by the schedule of HBO.
You'll still get it the same day as you get it now. And I know that if you're on our Patreon, you are in our boo crew. And what that means is that you are supporting us in a way that you're cool if that happens because you want us to you want us to get a bajillion followers. Yeah. Amanda doesn't want that, but you know what? I'm fine making money.
Listen, that's all I want. That's why I don't want men around. I want to focus on money.
Okay, so
that's it for housekeeping, right? Do you want to get into some hot
topics? Yes, except you wanted to quickly drop this.
Really Exactly. I've talked about this before. After Smash, this was 10 years out now, but this is one of the first podcasts I ever listened to. This has 5 stars. It has 0 bad reviews or ratings on iTunes. Me and Nick always used to be like, how the hell does that happen? But they have not done an episode in 10 years. But these two men, Louis Pietzman and Matt Pivovarchik, went to Smash on Broadway. And
I love how you were questioning how to pronounce Louis, but then you just went Pivovarchik. Like you just
that lives in my head. Whatever. They went to Smash on Broadway, and they today released an episode where they're going through the whole plot line, and they both did like it. So I feel like that was relevant for us.
You mean Smash on Broadway?
Smash on Broadway they went to. And we're recapping Smash on our Patreon, and people seem to love it. So yeah, it's after Smash. Like, they're awesome.
Too bad we don't have a cover in there. Yes, we're doing Smash on our Patreon. Now, I have heard bad things about the Smash musical. In fact, I watched a long rant by that one guy on TikTok.
Sweaty Oracle.
Who's saying that, they ruined blah, 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 blah. Thank you, Jay Schwa. You get it, babe. You get it.
All right, let's go into some hot topics.
Oh. Get it while it's hot.
Topics. I think my hot topic of possibly the century, it feels like, is this effing Katy Perry tour. Now, guys, I could have taken screen grabs of 50 billion things because I'm pretty sure I've seen it from every angle.
Every new video I've seen, she's in a different costume. There's one where she is like playing with poop in a toilet.
Okay, that's from her Las Vegas residency.
Oh, all right then.
That actually I'm more acceptable of, shockingly.
Okay, she had a little more energy in that one.
Okay, so here, guys, Katy Perry's Lifetimes tour. Here we are. So here's my thing. I have a few things. I did mention on one of our episodes yesterday that I'm gonna have a hot take here about why this is sucking so bad. But here's some other ones. First of all, she spent too much time getting ready to go to space that she should have rehearsed a little bit more for this because, oh boy, she's a mess here. If you've seen any of these videos, and Amanda and I, not to be bitchy, now trust me, I've never been on a tour like Katy Perry, but I feel like just naturally you'd want to put more...
Not even more, something.
Effervescence into it? Like any amount of something. She looks very confused. Oh, wait. Oh, God. Wait. Okay. You guys need to be mentally prepared.
I'm going to let you talk about all of this, but I want to really quickly say this, that I've been seeing musings that it was clearly supposed to be space themed, and then that thing went over like a bucket of bricks. So they had to really quickly change it, and that would explain most of this.
Okay, so the original idea that they're saying is that this tour is about Katy Perry is playing some video game character who has to go through these different lifetimes, which, that's the name of her album. Okay. Danielle, thanks, babe. And she goes through different levels. Okay, and she's also decided she's going to do basically every kind of thing you could do in a concert. There are times when she is strung up in this harness being spun around like Pink. There's times where she's in a ball okay, oh my God, I don't even know how to compose my thoughts.
There's so many things. I know.
It's like she flies on this ugly looking butterfly thing at one point.
During Roar, though. So I'm like, you take one of the biggest songs that she has, and then she's just sitting on a butterfly.
To be perfectly honest, I wish she would have done more sitting because the choreography to this show, I swear, and I taught little kids, preschoolers, to do musical theater songs. And I believe the choreography that a preschooler does is about equivalent to the choreography Katy Perry's doing, especially in this one number. There's a moment
before she does this thing.
This is all leading into it. She walks up on stage. Okay, that's where this photo is from. She walks forward. She stands there just awkwardly for a second, and the camera, a person in the audience must be 10 feet from her because you couldn't even smile at the people there or something. She's literally standing there like this, and then she starts doing these moves where she's doing this. it's like a weird, like bad thriller, but what I just did had about 12 times more energy.
Yeah, because it doesn't even seem like she's ill prepared. It seems like she's been doing this so long that she's fully marking, and she seems visibly annoyed by having to do it. But it's like she's not really fully leaning into it, like making fun of it either. She just seems like she's marking it like a cue to cue.
Well, I think one of the issues here is that they're trying to take the entire thing way too seriously.
Yeah.
Like they have her battling people with these like lightsabers and stuff. And in my opinion, I haven't really ever thought of her music or her to be edgy or deep. Rebecca, thank you. A lot of people are comparing this to Gaga's Las Vegas residency and being like,
I've heard the Eras Tour, as someone said up here too, that she's trying to be Taylor.
She's copying the Eras Tour of, she's basically, guys, if you can think of a famous tour of the last 20 years, she's copying every single piece of that and throwing it all in one thing and like rumbling it around. Thank you. Can you guys hit the like?
Yeah, we need to say that more.
I just always forget. Also hit subscribe.
Yes.
So my most atrocious moment though is this moment where she goes forward to do this little dance. She's wearing this ugly outfit too. Mind you guys, she's also doing all of this in flats.
Well, I mean, I don't blame her for that in any way. I'm in my 40s as well.
In my opinion, if you are in flats, you need to be then serving something. You know, you can't be wearing flats and flopping. You can't be like both. You need to be like, anyway. So she does this whole thing. Then she has two people come up to help grab her arms. They lift her, I believe, 6 inches off the ground.
Yeah.
She's like, goes like this. Literally like this far off the ground. She lands on the ground like this.
Right.
Okay. Then she does this.
No, first she turns around and like booty pops to the crowd goes mild situation.
Okay. The lead up. This is here. I'll do a representation of the whole dance. Stand there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Swing the arms. Then she turns around, does the butt shake, but in a way where you're picking up your feet, like the white girl way to shake your ass. It's like you're picking up your feet instead of shaking your.
Moving your feet and legs.
You're like going like
Barbie. Like if you took a Barbie and went like this. Hey, the chat is turns around. Up, by the way, John, people are in it. Danielle says, "I wear flats and flop daily, girl."
Danielle. Danielle.
Brianna's here. She was trotting, giving horse girl, says Brianna. By the way, everyone, can I pimp her out really quickly? Brianna was the first person that I saw on TikTok that caught that the Sister Wives salaries were released, and she put up a TikTok video. And she's also going to be a guest on Monday's Love to Hate TV podcast.
Ooh.
Back to Katy. Keep talking about how bad Katy is.
Okay, so she does the butt shake. Then she turns around. Two dancers come, grab her arms, do the 6-inch jump up in the air. Then she lands like this, does a death drop, then pokes her head up. Now this moment redeemed it a little bit for me, because at least you're like recognizing that you look stupid, right? I think this face is a face of recognition. Like, I look like a doofus.
But she's not even leaning into the joke enough. Like, it's such minimal effort. I can't describe it any other way but marking.
Well, that's what I need this show to do is like, let's lean in and just make it funnier and make it more whatever. Now, I'm sure they won't, because Katy Perry doesn't listen to anyone. That's why she went to space. Now, I do want to drop my hot take here. Hot take. I believe the number one reason Katy Perry is not doing her normal thing here is because she is on Ozempic.
What does that have to do with anything?
I've just noticed a pattern, and you know, the first person that I noticed this in was Erica Jane on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Okay, she used to eat up. Okay, she had a body, she had thick legs, fat ass, and she was doing her performances, going down to the ground in the splits, just killing it. Okay, she does Ozempic and gets skinny, and with those Ozempic.
Lost all her muscle tone.
She lost her muscle tone, and then she's so like, now she's just like very like, it's just not the same. I believe the same thing is happening with Katy Perry, because I don't think she's come out and say she's on Ozempic, but when you see her in like outfits and stuff, especially in the lead up to this, she was like skin very, very thin, like very, very thin in a way she never had been before. Now, trust me, I'm not dogging people who take Ozempic at all. I'm just thinking it is deteriorating you a little bit, especially if you're going to go try and perform 2-hour shows every day. Katy, you probably need to, no, I'm not going to say that. All I'm going to say is that is my hot take, and I'm sorry.
I would say that, plus it was clearly supposed to be space themed, and at least at least they didn't lean in. Like, at least she listened to whoever was like, "Girl, it's not going over the way we thought it was going to."
There are they have a part where she brings up audience members, and they have them wearing like blue spacesuits that literally almost look like the spacesuits that she wore in their space mission.
All right. What's next on the docket? Are you done talking about Perry?
Okay, at least there was a bit of solace here, because guess what, y'all?
Okay, here we go.
Beyonce Cowboy Carter Tour Night 1 came out. And now here was the lead up to this. They've been practicing. She's been rehearsing, and I swear she was rehearsing here. I may be delusional because she doesn't have a stop here, but I think she was rehearsing at the stadium here. Some people did an overhead flight shot to get a picture of the stage to like leak it. Okay, so they do that, and then within 12 hours or something, Beyonce, who has never done this ever before, presents the photo of the stage for people to see what it's like. So it's laid out in this like star shape, and it's very similar to the Renaissance Tour. If anyone was on the Renaissance Tour vibe, I will say that part of it, I like what she's doing, because this is technically Act 2, so you're kind of carrying it through. But I could also be interested in a little differentiation. Just saying. Now, she opened with American Requiem. Now, anyone aligned or into the Cowboy Carter Tour is, or the album, okay? I please let me know in the comments. People are like, in the comments, like, I hate Beyonce. Anyway, she came out, looked amazing. I want to go to this tour. They're saying that it's not selling that well, I guess, because people on the original release date of tickets spent $500 for like nosebleeds, and now you can buy the same tickets for like $70.
Oh, all right.
And so, yeah. Anyway, she came out, did her thing, was amazing. She did bring out
Jody sent me a TikTok of this with just an eye roll emoji of her bringing her fucking kids. But as John said, this is good marketing. And I don't want to dog Jody out either, because Jody one time, like 8 years ago, said something on her podcast about how she doesn't really get the appeal with Beyonce, and she never recovered from the reviews that she did. And then right after that, she partnered with me, and her reviews just fucking suck. Way worse than Beyonce.
Anyway, what? Okay, so if you guys don't know, on her last tour, she was bringing out Blue Ivy, and who would do dance breaks and stuff. And I'm like, okay. And then
Blue Ivy has a little bit more energy than Katy Perry.
Who?
Than Katy Perry. Blue Ivy.
Oh, Blue Ivy is really coming into her own.
No, I agree. Every video I see of her, she's better and better.
Yes.
I'll give her that.
I think that's a sweet thing about this, is there's Blue Ivy too. And it was, in a marketing strategy. Now, she might not have been doing this marketing wise, but this was a really smart way of introducing your children to the public, because first of all, people were living for Blue Ivy. They were like posting all about it on the first tour.
And Beyonce always seems to when she looks at her kids, she genuinely seems to love
her children
and adore them. So I enjoy that.
And the song that she sings here is one that she wrote about her kids. She talks about being their protector. There's a line there is such a simple line where she's just like, I'll be your protector. And then she's like, I'll be your projector. Like, that gives me chills, because that is what a parent should be. They should like project the the beauty and wonderfulness of their children. Yeah. Anyway, what I was going to say here is that last tour, she introduced Blue Ivy and people were like going crazy. Now, if all she had for this tour was Blue Ivy, people would have been like, oh, Blue Ivy's back. Yay. It would have kind of probably dropped off. But you know what she did? She's like, I'm going to give him Blue Ivy and then I'm going to hit him with the new one. And we're really going to launch off. I mean, this woman knows what she's doing.
This still picture of whatever kid this is still 20 times more entertaining than fucking Kanye West's daughter doing Just Can't Wait to Be Fucking King. Remember when that happened? What a moment.
Northwest. I think the crazy thing to me is that Northwest and Blue Ivy, I think, are the same age.
Yeah, they are.
Like, the difference to me, though, with what I will say with Beyonce is, yes, her kids are Nepo babies. Trust and believe.
Yeah, I know
how I feel about Nepo babies.
Critical thing you've ever said.
The only thing I'll say is that I believe that she actually makes Blue Ivy, like, try. I don't think she's just like
standards.
She doesn't just let her be shitty. She pushes her to like be better. So I think that's.
And I would imagine Blue Ivy is probably respectful of people around her.
Well, people call her the producer. They act like she's Beyonce's producer. If you in the Renaissance film, there is a. My God, I'm getting a phone call. In the Renaissance film, there's a part where Blue Ivy is they're going through the set list and like what to pull and what to keep and Beyonce's like, let's cut Diva. Which is like a song everyone loves. Like a diva is a female version of a hustler, right? And Beyonce's like, we're going to cut it. And Blue Ivy is back there being like, you can't cut it. You can't cut Diva. You can't. And then literally to the point where Beyonce's like, okay, calm down. And then she keeps it in the show and they put that in the movie version. And you're just like,
all right.
Number one thing for Beyonce, release the Renaissance film. I don't care if it costs me $100 to buy it. I need to be able to watch it. What's the deal? What is the deal with that, Beyonce? Release the Renaissance film for home viewing. Let me finish and wrap up this section because I can tell Amanda's losing steam on listening about Beyonce.
I don't care about Beyonce.
If you are a Beyonce and Gaga fan, Gaga and Beyonce had telephone, right? And then they had the video, and then they had the Beyonce-led version video phone, okay? This was years ago. People have been clamoring for the follow-ups to telephone and video phone. And so anytime there's any like mention of any of that, people start going crazy. Well, in the concert, people feel that there was a telephone Easter egg because Beyonce, one, is wearing the same type of like bang style as the telephone video. A phone rings. She picks up the phone and into the phone, she says, "Stop calling." And that is part of the lyrics to telephone.
Do people like freak out in the audience?
People were going crazy. And I've seen a bunch of these videos where it's like telephone Easter egg, telephone part 2. When's it coming? Feed us, Beyonce.
All right.
We need you now more than ever.
Look, I don't dislike Beyonce. I just she never crosses my mind at all. Anyway, you know who is crossing my mind? Okay, you're gonna get some hot takes from me. Jojo Siwa.
Ooh, Jojo.
Okay, what I said in my opening, which was about how
our fave.
This is like the most because she's been trying to do this career rebrand. She keeps coming out in all these weird outfits, trying to say that she's the new gay pop star, and somehow, for some reason, this I think is the best thing she's ever done. And I don't think even this was on purpose, but I think the major thing is she got away from her fucking mother. She got to go out and just sit in a house and do nothing and maybe develop her personality a bit or just chill out a bit for however long, 2 weeks. And I think it's actually really fascinating to watch this 21-year-old girl come into her own a bit. And I mean, she was like, there's this whole inappropriate friendship with Chris Hughes, who I've never heard of before.
She was on Celebrity Big Brother UK. Yeah. If you guys don't know, she had a friendship / weird flirtatious situationship with this man, Chris Hughes, who was on Love Island, and he is 34. Keep that in mind, friends, because I think JoJo's 21.
She's 21. She is 21. Even her partner, Kath, who she does break up with after this, she put out a video complaining about this, and people were like, even Trisha Paytas was like, that's a really big age gap. Like, you shouldn't even be with someone.
Agreed.
Sorry. She's 21. I don't have any problem with what she did at all.
I also don't think that JoJo gives off mature 21-year-old either.
No, I think that this is very relatable. And then she came out as not a lesbian, but queer. And so I think it's fascinating to watch this. And if everyone just remembers that she is 21 and she has a really fucked up childhood, and she finally got to just kind of be alone by herself, I think it's actually kind of an interesting story to watch. This is weird.
Well, they're now on see, I'm looking at this like I think JoJo's being slightly taken advantage of here. 100%. I feel like this man knows that this was the most famous person to walk into that house. Sorry, not sorry.
That's so sad.
And he's 34 and she's 21. And they've been doing these cringy ass interviews in the UK where this one, they talk about how he's like, you know, two people can be like soulmates, like it's just like a soulmate relationship or whatever. And she puts her head on his shoulder and he's like rubbing her leg and shit. Now Amanda thinks this is cute and great,
if me and John behaved like this ever. I don't think I've even touched you other than like a hug, a quick hug. I don't think we've even done like a cheek kiss before. I couldn't imagine sitting next to you and being like, I mean, both of us are not touchy-feely people also.
I can't imagine a woman stroking my thigh.
In a friendship way, too. Like, I don't know.
This is my soulmate and a woman's touching my thigh. No. I hope JoJo is, I don't believe in soulmates. Well, I get that. Okay.
I don't believe in soulmates. I believe that there's a bunch of people that all belong together, like groups of people that are similar to each other. There's not just one soulmate. That's crazy. Yes. So Chris Hughes, I think, is definitely using this for publicity, and it's actually really sad because I think JoJo's definitely in love with him.
I don't know what JoJo. I don't know. I think it's trashy that JoJo quit or ended Big Brother. And then at the wrap party, broke up with her partner that she kind of she cheated on in the Big Brother house. Yeah. Now, she may not have had sex with this man, but they did the dirty dancing move. Like,
they slept in each other's bed.
If I saw my partner on television in a situation like this where it wasn't about dancing, they're not on Dancing with the Stars, and you do the dirty dancing move with someone else.
The move where the like, hey, lover boy.
The thing where she runs towards him and he picks her up and like lifts her in the air. No.
They were very intimate. It was the intimacy that bugged me more than even the touching. It was the true, like them whispering all close. They would like put their heads together and like talk to each other with like close eye contact.
I just think I feel in a way bad for her because I think she's being taken advantage of in this situation. So,
but I will say, from JoJo, I think was on our very first live episode. We were talking trash about her because I think this is why we started rolling out. So yeah,
JoJo will always be like a mini mascot of our show. Now it's probably terrible because we're here judging a 21-year-old, but oh well.
No, I like her. All right, Vanderpump Villa. We didn't think we would give a shit about this show, but a bunch of clips were released. And
I only give a shit about the clips that have to do with Stassi, really, because I've also heard this show in general is bad.
Sure, I don't know. I don't even know there's anyone else on the show, to be honest. But like the storyline that has been released. And it's, very smart marketing for this because it shows Stassi full dark passengers. She's drunk, going up. But everyone in the comments and me still on Stassi's side. It's fucking weird.
So the clip is that Stassi is talking to her husband and baby daddy. And he has not recently or in the last years met his sister and gotten a tattoo of his sister's name.
Who is like his age-ish and like attractive.
Okay,
so
but
they went out and got.
I don't understand why people are bringing that in. Like, you think are people really hypothesizing that he's horny for his sister?
I think that makes a huge difference that they met late in life because they don't have the history of growing up together and all that. I think that's a huge difference.
I guess I look at it way different in a way of I'm like, if that person's your sister and he's probably just trying to find a connect. Anyway, you get a tattoo of his sister's name. Stassi's now worked up and upset because she's like, you know, you have your sister's name and you're not the mother of your children and the blah blah blah, and I think Stassi takes things too far personally. Yeah. She always has.
Point yesterday of, well, it is weird, but now what exactly is Bo supposed to do? Like,
I guess get a tattoo of Stassi's name, but then at the same point, like, oh, so for me, I wouldn't want the backup tattoo after I bitched about, like, I'm not I'm not shaming someone into getting my name tattooed on them. Like, that's insane. So whatever. I've heard though that show kind of sucks because, and people are like, I read a Reddit thread about it. Shocking. Reddit is the best place to go for this shit. That comparing it to like Below Deck and Vanderpump Rules and being like, it's a mix of, they're trying to make it a mix of Below Deck and Vanderpump Rules. Now, the difference though is that with Vanderpump Rules, those people were like genuine friends who had already had a storyline going. And then on Below Deck, those are actual people who do that job. Like, that is their actual job.
Here's another good point. Heather says Jax had Stassi's name tattooed on him, which was a huge story. And I think Bo says that. It's like, but Jax had your name tattooed.
Agreed.
So I'm going to be like Jax. I get that too.
Heather, I want to mention, honey, I mentioned you on our Patreon. And I said, thanks. Thanks for the lovely message and all of that. You're a doll. Also,
the doll.
You sent me a doll and I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to it. Hey, also, I want to know, Bree, are you still here? Are you on our Patreon? Because we addressed your question and I didn't know if you were a Patreon member because I don't know what your name is on there. Are you on there? Let me know. Bree, are you here? Are you still here?
Anya Dunkel, I just started Vanderpump because of you guys. Me and John also, I've been floating the idea that we should do some Vanderpump content on our Patreon since you want to get rid of some. I think that would actually be more natural because we both truly are obsessed with Vanderpump.
I would trade girls for Vanderpump in a second.
Yeah, but we're keeping girls because enough people said it. We could get rid of gold. Well, we can get rid of the mailbag because not enough people like do it. So we can maybe do the mail. Whatever. We can talk about it. But Vanderpump content coming.
Anyway, thanks, Heather. We love you. The Valley. I haven't watched this week's episode. Did you watch it?
I did this morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. My day began at 5 in the morning.
I was asleep.
Yeah, I know. But it was good. It has Jax leaving for
Please
rehab.
check out this comment. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Look, we can make this work. We can keep girls. We'll keep girls. Okay. The Valley. Jax is gone from most of this episode, and it actually was fine. I was still interested in the characters enough. I really love Kristen Doty.
Oh yeah, because has Jax gone to his?
He went to rehab at the end of the last episode. So...
Bree, that's okay. I just was sorry, Bree, that's okay that you're not on Patreon yet. That is so fine. We just addressed your question about our skincare, and spoiler alert, Amanda and I don't do shit.
Yeah, and we also use filters on this.
I don't use touch up my appearance. Amanda does.
I do one. Anyway, who cares? So yeah, The Valley. I'm like obsessed with this season. The after show for this is crazy.
The after show is better.
Yeah, it is. Because the shit that they talk about, they go into the divorce with Jesse and what's his wife's name?
Michelle.
It's like a fucked up divorce. Like the detail they go into is insane. So honestly, I never gave a shit about The Valley, but if you guys you don't need to watch season 1, I would jump in here because things are crazy.
Amanda's on the after show because I watched it last week's, not immediately, so it was in between the time now. And Kristen Doty drops a piece of information that
in passing.
I cannot believe it's been. Maybe I missed it. Brianna, you're gonna have to tell us, since you're starting from the beginning, does Jax ever mention this? She says that Jax would tell people that he was deployed to Afghanistan and that like during the war, and that's why he has rage issues. Guys, guess what? He was like ejected out of the military after 6 months.
Dishonorable discharge, yeah, like Nathan Griffin. Yeah, it's fun stuff.
That to me is insane. That's like the person who said they were in 9/11, like that they were in the building of 9/11.
Tanya Head. Yes, of course. Me and Jody reference her at least once a week to each other.
Jay Schwa, start Below Deck. It's really good. I love it. I love it. And there's a billion episodes. Speaking
of the Valley, oh man, no, this is all of my favorite shit here is Jax's podcast, In the Mind of a Man. Oh no, In the Mind of Jax Taylor is the podcast. This is a tour.
We have a star in our midst. Jody Smith. Hey, she's here, baby.
Talk to us about Dr. Drew because Dr. Drew went on Jax's podcast. And he also went on Tom Sandoval's podcast. Now on Tom Sandoval's podcast, he did Tom's like, do you think I'm a narcissist? And Drew's like, no, which is not shocking because Drew is famously, he will lift up every toxic man. And Teen Mom, he's constantly telling all the girls, you should get back together with Adam. You should get back together with Ryan. He's doing so good. Look at this. He didn't beat someone this week. So he goes on Jax's podcast. The first half of it, Dr. Drew is telling Jax, like, you even just admitting you have a problem is such a great, I just think this is great for you. And he's really building him up. And Jax seems obsessed with bringing up whether or not Celebrity Rehab will ever come back. Cause I think Jax wants to go on Celebrity Rehab. And Dr. Drew's like, I don't know. I mean, maybe not. So they're talking about, and he keeps bringing it back to that. Keeps bringing it back to this. At some point, he's like, I think I really have a sex addiction too, Dr. Drew. And Dr. Drew's like, yeah, there's this thing called SLA at like Sex and Love Anonymous. And Jax was like, oh, I've never heard of that. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. It seems like if you'd gone to any therapy, the first thing the doctor would tell you is, oh, there's this thing called SLA you could also attend. So Jax has done no work whatsoever. Then halfway through.
You mean to tell me the time he spent with his Reiki girl, Kelsey, didn't change his life?
Oh, God. So, halfway through,
I think that they do have psych evaluations and they choose people who are psychotic.
Of course. So he goes, okay, so Dr. Drew did the narcissist test on me. And I was like, here we go. Dr. Drew's going to say he's not a narcissist. And Dr. Drew's like, so yeah, we did it. And so just so you know, like the highest I've ever seen in someone is 34. And most people like set it around like a 10 or so. You were at 29. And Jax is like, oh. And all Dr. Drew can say is, I bet if you came back in a year, it would be lower though. But Jax wasn't even that devastated about it. He almost seemed proud of it.
Has Dr. Drew followed Jax's life? Because if you are a casual viewer of Vanderpump Rules, you know that Jax has played this game like 50 times at this point to where you're like, I don't ever see any kind of change happening because Jax still won't take an ounce of accountability. He only uses it to manipulate.
It's an example. The whole interview is an example of a narcissist and a sociopath who has now learned therapy words. It's fascinating to listen to, honestly. And Dr. Drew was awful, truly awful.
I think Dr. Drew just is awful. He's trash ass.
So. Yeah, he's fully trash. So anyway, that was that. All right, Real Housewives.
Real Housewives of Atlanta continues. Here's my thoughts, guys. I don't know. Here. The one person I like is Angela Oakley, even though I don't love all her takes. She's the one new girl who actually seems kind of on top of being a housewife instead of just a clout chaser. The other new girls, they're very much like just too much. I like this girl, kind of like this girl here on the end in the all gold. Her name's Kelly, but I think when you go in to do it your first season of Housewives and you have a glam squad, a publicist, this, that, and the other, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. Just be yourself. Be yourself. And then I found out this week that Angela Oakley, she is married to Charles Oakley, who's some sports person. They've tried to get her on Housewives of Atlanta since season 3. They've asked her every single season. And so that makes sense. Because the person that I saw talking about it was like, oh yeah, she gives you old school housewives. So I'm not living for this. But we'll see. I'll still watch it, I guess. One thing I am living for kind of is this Love Hotel. Okay. Bravo, Love Hotel.
I might watch this because someone else. And this, you know why I want to watch this? Because I didn't know that Joel Kim Booster was the host. And I was like, oh, that's what he was talking about when he was tweeting all that shit about Shannon Bedore. So now I do have to watch it.
Yeah. And I'm seeing the buildup all. Okay. So here are the people on Love Hotel. It is Luann, Jody. Phaedra Parks is coming back in like 2 more episodes. And I think it's because they fired Kenya. Just saying.
Who got arrested for the drunk driving?
Shannon Bedore got arrested for drunk
driving. No. The one that it was from like Atlanta, I think.
That's Potomac. Karen Huger.
Yes, of course.
Okay, on Love Hotel, it has Giselle and Ashley from Potomac. It has Shannon from OC, and it has Luann, baby, from NYC. Honey, formerly from NY, New York. So the premise here is that these 4 ladies are coming to this hotel in Cabo. I did call out and say that I recognize this hotel was definitely a Mexican resort because I've been there.
Okay.
Now, they go there and they meet these like men. I'm assuming they're going to introduce more men into the show because so far there's only about 8 guys, I think. And you can't really have 8 men for girl. Jody, Ashley Darby is a mess. She started off as a sugar baby and she never admitted it. And now she's still trying to ride some kind of, I actually think she might like girls.
I mean,
I hate to always go back to that, but that's just one of my fallbacks is like, anyway, whatever. She gives me that vibe, whatever. Now, on this show, I did watch it. I cried, unfortunately, because one of the guys on it, not unfortunately, but one of the guys.
Are you in perimenopause too?
Girl. one of the guys on it, his name's like Earl or something. I think it's Earl. His story leading up is that his wife got cancer, beat it, and then it came back like 3 years later and she died like recently, and he was with her through all of that and everything. And so I cried at that storyline, and I'm like, yeah, he's just trying to like rebuild and whatever. I can see how. So then the story that came out was Joel Kim Booster, who's the host of this, was claiming that like Shannon Bedore was like the biggest piece of shit ever, like treated everyone terribly, was like.
I believe it though, because Shannon's response to that was not denying it. She's like, everyone has a bad day. I'm like,
I 1,000% believe it. Personally, I can't believe that someone like Shannon would sign up for a show where at the core of it, though, those guys aren't just competing for the women. These women are going to have to compete against each other for certain guys. And I think that is where Shannon is going to go over the edge, because they're already teasing that Luann is like stealing the guy that Shannon likes. And Shannon does not react well to that stuff. And you know how Luann is, baby. I think Luann could get any man to fuck her. I mean, that woman is.
She had sex with Jax. How'd she get him?
Honey, I think I could get Jax. I don't think
anyone could get Jax. Literally,
I think a carcass could get Jax. I don't know, like a watermelon. Anyway,
actually, on this. Oh, sorry. Were you done?
Oh no,
done. You're not done. You are done.
I'm done.
I'm going to talk about Juicy Scoop. Jody, are you still here? Did you listen to this? Okay, Luann was on Juicy Scoop promoting Love Hotel, and if you guys want to hear a contentious interview, listen to this because it is so funny. Luann the whole time is just her throat. She keeps having to like.
She had a cabaret performance the night before, Amanda.
And you can hear just the phlegm, just the whole time she's clearing her throat. And like, she's telling these stories, and I'm on Heather's side for all of this. Heather's trying to like interject to like clarify things. And Luann keeps getting so mad at her. She keeps being like, no, look, Heather, just let me finish, Heather. It's the whole interview. It's like an hour of that. I'm just, let me finish with my story. And she's going off on all these tangents, and Heather's like, Anyway, and she's like, for anyone who she's like, Luann, I just need to explain for anyone who doesn't know, which I needed because I don't know any of this stuff. And Luann's just about the count, and I am an actual countess, you know. I mean, people think that I just got that willy-nilly, but it's real. And Heather's like, yeah, okay, but no, Heather, let me finish. So anyway, but she says that her and Shannon weren't going after the same guys on there. That's why it works so well. So anyway.
Okay. Well, so far in the preview, they've implied that they're gonna.
All right. Well, not according to what Luann told Heather.
I can't imagine that if I were
all the way down.
I can't imagine if I were a man. And no offense, Shannon. Please don't come for me. I know I've heard you have a bad reputation of coming for people. So, I'd rather be with Luann than Shannon 1,000 times over. If you've ever watched OC, I can't imagine being with Shannon Bador.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
I root for her.
No offense, Shannon.
As a fellow alcoholic. Let's really quickly talk about Lena Dunham. Lena Dunham and what's this girl?
Carly Rae Jepsen.
Carly Rae Jepsen are like, Lena's the writer and Carly Rae Jepsen is the music writer, the composer of 10 Things I Hate About You, the musical on Broadway. Yes, John, I know you don't like remakes of movies, but I actually think this could be a huge hit. I think Lena Dunham is probably like one of the most perfect people that could do this. And Carly Rae Jepsen, I think her music is so perfectly like early, like bop, like late 90s, early 2000s bop. And I think that could just really, really work.
I have hope with Carly Rae Jepsen for sure. I think Lena Dunham is a great writer. Hopefully she doesn't need to make jokes about like having sex with underage people, because that's like one of her top choices.
Well, into the source material. So there probably are really inappropriate jokes in there.
I believe this show will have a hill to climb, because I think that Lena Dunham carries something with her name that people are going to. This show is going to have to be really good in order for it to get like great praise.
It will, though. I think the commentary I'm seeing on it is, ugh, Lena Dunham. Yes, and she's going to do great. Because nobody can argue that she's like a really, really talented writer.
I am on the side of saying that we could do some more original shows. But two things. Did you know that the costume designer for Death Becomes Her is Paul Tazwell, the costume designer of Wicked?
Oh, I love that.
I got super excited for that. Second, I saw an interview with Jennifer Simard, who's in Death Becomes Her, and they're like, what other movie do you think would be a great adaptation, like a movie adaptation of musical? And she said, Drop Dead Gorgeous. And I think that would be... That I approve of. I think that show would make a lot of sense.
Beverly Hills, I always hear people say. Which I've seen once, and I was like, this is fine. Really quick little palate cleanser here. Valerie the dog in Australia, a dog that has been missing for over 500 days, was...
Honey, I think she wanted to stay missing.
Yeah, she totally did. She was seen on a...
missing by choice.
Yeah, missing by choice on this camera. She was caught on like a... a night vision camera
TV or whatever they call it.
Yeah, and they had to like, the way they had to catch her, because she kept evading them. The way they had to catch her was like her owner had to wear all these clothes, and then they had to like sprinkle all her clothes along like this thing, and then put her into this like trap that they could drop the lid on it like from like a radio controlled device. But they got her, and here she is. She's returned to her parents, and just so funnily, the article's like, yeah, she's not really adapting well to life indoors again. She's pissed. I love it. After 500 days, that's over a year. That's almost 2 years.
Let's address a few of these comments here. I agree Lena looks like she's eating fast food burger while driving because of that dress with the napkin. Jay Schwa says the conditions are good for a good production. They could still flat and flop, which I agree. Jay Schwab and Amanda, you should do a Canadian political minute. There was an upset, I believe, in Canada.
Not really. I tried to vote at the last minute, and it turns out that Daphne should have reminded me, even though I told her kind of bitchily, I don't need you to fucking remind me, I'm an adult. Then she didn't remind me, and then I went to 2 voting stations, and both were not the place I was supposed to go to. I arrived 17 seconds before the polls closed to the second one, and I was like, they're like, you just made it. I'm like, I'm probably not at the right place, and I wasn't. But the guy I would have voted for did win. Mark Carney.
All right. Hashtag elbows up. I don't know what that means. What do we think of Epic? I think you mean the Epic musical, right? And I've seen some clips from it, and I think it's somewhat blown out of proportion of being like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. I'm not sure.
Elbows up means something.
Elbows up. Just let us know.
I think that's like the Canadian thing.
Jody Smith, we fly Katy Perry to space, but we can barely catch a dog. Seriously.
Okay.
All right.
What else?
Okay. You guys, it's everyone's favorite time of the week. Just me making assumptions over here. Anyway, it has been a weird week. 2 weeks, whatever. You know, I've had a lot going on. I've been genuinely busy. Lots of work, which is really, really good. Like so many houses and all of that. I am a realtor in the Phoenix metro area. If anyone's interested, DM me, baby. But been really, really busy with that, which is good. But it also then means that by the end of the day, I am like, it rolls around to my normal movie going time, which is about 9 p.m. And I'm like, I'm tired. I can't leave the house right now. So here are the movies I've been wanting to see. I want to see Sinners. I've heard this is so freaking good.
Good things about it. Everyone loves Michael B. Jordan.
It has amazing reviews, and it's starting kind of like a kind of oeuvre, I guess. And I think it's really cool because with this, it's like a Black-led horror franchise, and we don't really have that a lot. And I think that that's really cool. It also does like something that we like. One thing I'm going to have to get into with this movie is that I'm not really a big vampire movie person. And this is about vampires.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like old timey. So 2 things where I'm like, those aren't necessarily my number one choice of movie stuff is like old timey vampires. But I've heard this is really funny. I've heard it's amazing. And I've heard that it has like really cool visual stuff. In fact, it must be so amazing because every time I try and like look to go, if you guys have followed my movie saga, I like to go when there aren't very many people. This movie is like basically full almost all the time. If you try and go anytime before like 10 o'clock at night, it's full. And I'm not going to a full movie theater. So
that's great to hear, actually, though, for the movie industry. It's
good for them. I mean, there is a thing, though, that is kind of, you know, racism is real because there was wow, what a revelation, right? But there was an article headline that's like, on a $90 million budget, a $60 million opening weekend for Sinners is stumbling towards expectations. And it's like, if a movie, all I'm saying is that there's a double standard. You can read into that as much as you'd like. Guys, hit subscribe and hit like while you're watching. There's also this other movie. This is called Until Dawn. This I found out is based on a video game. But the premise of this, once I heard it, I was like, oh, I do want to see that because it reminds me of the movie somewhat Cabin in the Woods, which it's not like that because that, if you guys remember, Cabin in the Woods is like these 4 friends go to a cabin in the woods and it's being kind of like controlled by this like entity that like is trying to get them to.
Is like, that the movie where at one point someone's like dying in a cabin and they've like lost their lower jaw?
No.
I think it is.
That I think is Cabin Fever.
Oh, it is Cabin Fever. I'll never forget that image.
Cabin in the Woods is kind of like a comedy. It's like a horror comedy kind of where these kids go to a cabin and then this company is in charge of like trying to get this blood oath thing, whatever. I don't know. But they like can release different types of killing things. So it would be like either a zombie horde or a monster or a whatever, vampires or all these different things. This movie, Until Dawn, the premise here is that these people are in it, these like teenagers, and every single night they keep repeating the same night over. But in that same night, there's a different type of killer. So like in one, it's like a girl gets like like devil impregnation. One's a zombie thing. One's a giant creature. One's a whatever. And I guess that's the premise of this video game. This hasn't gotten that great of reviews, but I really like the idea. So I still want to see this too. It has not been selling as well as Sinners. So that's why it's kind of on my backup, but we'll see what I do. And if I get there.
All right, well, let's head on into our final segment.
So promising.
TikTok, you don't
stop.
All right. So John's going to show us some butts, and then I'm going to close out the show with just Florida Stanley sent us a TikTok, and she said, I thought of Amanda when I saw this, and I was like, nothing has described me better. I sent it to Jody, and we both love it. So, but show us some butts first.
First of all, there's this guy who first came onto my timeline because he was opening Pokemon cards, like just torso. It was like shirtless torso, and then he'd like open Pokemon cards like in front of his body and whatever. And he has a very perky chest. Now, he keeps getting comments of people being like, those are implants or whatever. So he did a video where he was dissuading the comments, and what he did was just flexing them, pushing them up and down, and just a lot of this. So see,
it still looks like he has implants.
It does kind of look like he has implants, but if you actually watch the video, they're very squishy when he's like, anyway.
Right.
So check it out. This guy's name is Zach. Look for Zach on TikTok.
Look up Zach.
Then I guess this was at a rugby thing. There was this guy called to arms, baby. This was also in Australia. And this,
I mean, he's popping that booty.
What?
He must know.
How could you carry around that without knowing?
You can set a drink on that ass.
This is just like, what?
Yeah. I hope that guy's gay, because if he's not, like, what?
That is wasted.
It is a huge waste.
Then a follow-up. We saw this guy last week. I guess it's time for dinner. Okay, I'm just kidding. This guy does this thing where he gets up on the corner and then he like bounces up and down, and Jesus, it's like, whoa. This is inappropriate almost. And now I do have a question, and this is to Facebook. In the times that I accidentally stumble over to Facebook, on your Facebook feed, it doesn't show anyone that you actually follow or care about. It just constantly suggests you crap to follow and other pages. And this is what Facebook thought I should follow. This is called Only Men, and it says, me trying to play sports with the boys. Facebook, take several seats.
For anyone
what are you doing?
It's a man with a bunch of bats aimed toward him, and he's like fully, it's a gangbang of bats.
He's like bukkake circle, like he's the thing in the middle of a circle at a party. Anyway, I'm like, Facebook, stop.
All right, well, to close this out, I'm going to read this TikTok of this man. He's a very French man, so you have to imagine. Did you watch it, John?
Yes.
You did? Okay.
But I'd like your take on it.
All right, so imagine a very French man reading this. And John, if I can just get your undivided attention for this, because I get nervous when I read.
I have it.
All right, ready? It's a man saying this. Some women have been, and this is nice too. This is good. This describes me. Some women have been single for so long, they don't date anymore. They grant you access to their peaceful little empire like a reluctant queen handing you a visitor's badge. You think you're going to be her boyfriend? Bro, she's sleeping diagonally in her bed for 3 years. She's not giving up that territory because you opened the door and paid for a coffee. Her vibe is, I like the idea of you, but your physical presence is kind of ruining my whole aesthetic. You plan a cute date. She's thinking, that sounds nice, but also I could stay home, deep clean my apartment, do a 12-step skincare routine, order sushi, and not have to listen to a man breathe. Romantic surprises, risky. You show up unannounced with flowers, Cool. She already scheduled her evening. 2-hour bubble bath, wine, watching Pride and Prejudice for emotional stability. You're not part of the itinerary, Jonathan. You try to check in emotionally. How are you feeling? She's feeling fantastic because you're not here. When she says, I need space, she doesn't mean I'm upset. She means she wants to lie face down on her bed for 3 hours without explaining it to anyone. You're not competing with other guys. There are no other guys. You're competing with her weighted blanket, her peace, her cat named Chairman Meow, and the simple joy of not having to share her fries. The second you cause even 0.0001% stress, gone, vanished, back to her solo adventures and 87 unread therapy newsletters. Are you okay? Yes, she's thriving. She just booked a solo trip to Iceland while you were still composing your good morning, beautiful text. Dating a woman who is used to being alone is not romance. It's an extreme sport for your self-esteem. Nothing has ever described me better. You can come join me, kind of, but like really, I'd prefer for you to always not be here. And with that,
I think that that's a great little thing to say. Check out our Pillow Talk episode.
Yeah,
that was a part of it.
Yeah, a lot of that.
That was a reaction to the Pillow Talk episode where we talk about that. We talk about that shit. Check it out on our Patreon. It's patreon.com/podinthecity. Also, if you guys are watching, maybe you haven't had the chance yet, hit like, hit subscribe. Stay like 2 minutes after this and leave us a comment. Also, check out our Pod in the City main feed episode, Sex in the City Season 3, Episode 18, Cock-a-doodle-doo. It's the finale. Yeah. Next week. We already have an idea, and it was sent by one of our fabulous listeners. I think it was Sarah, who said that we should rank the men of Sex in the City, and oh baby, I'm excited. And I think there's going to be some hot takes on there. You know how we feel about Daddy Steve. So.
All right. I think that's everything, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Katy Perry, you are the worst, literally. RIP to Jiggly Caliente. And
we love you, Bianca Castro. We love you guys too.
Yeah. Have a great week. We love you. Bye.
Bye.